Your dog does not have hours after swallowing a bee or wasp. Sometimes they barely have minutes. Because if that insect stings inside the mouth or throat, your dog's airway can start swelling shut before you even realize this is an emergency. And the terrifying part? Most owners waste those first critical minutes doing the exact wrong thing, while the venom spreads deeper inside the body. Stop everything. Watch carefully. I'll show you the exact steps to save your dog's life. Number 1. The stomach isn't the problem. The throat is. The moment your dog swallows that insect, every owner's brain goes to the same place. Stomach acid. It'll neutralize the venom. He'll be fine by morning. That thought, that completely reasonable, completely natural thought has ended dogs' lives. Because the bee never reaches the stomach. The moment it contacts the back of the throat, the soft palate, the pharynx, the tissue lining the esophageal entrance, it stings reflexively, instantly. That's not cruelty. That's biology. Threat detected. Venom released. No delay. And that throat tissue is the most vascular in your dog's entire body. More blood vessels per square centimeter than almost anywhere else. Venom doesn't slowly absorb. It floods the bloodstream in under 60 seconds. A sting on the leg swells outward. Painful, uncomfortable, manageable. A sting in the throat swells inward, toward the airway, toward the one passage keeping him alive. Same dog, same dose of venom. Completely different outcome, decided by 3 inches of anatomy. And if what he swallowed wasn't a bee but a wasp, the danger doesn't double, it multiplies. Point 2 tells you exactly why, and it will change how fast you move. 1 bee stings once, 1 wasp stings 10 times. Most people picture a bee. Round, fuzzy, slow. 1 sting and it's over. But the insect your dog is most likely to snap at, hiding in your trash bin, crawling inside that soda can from last weekend, nesting under your deck, is a wasp. And wasps are an entirely different category of dangerous. A honeybee has a barbed stinger that hooks into tissue and stays. The bee tears itself free and dies. 1 sting. Done. But that lodged stinger keeps pumping venom for up to 90 seconds after the bee is already dead. A wasp has a smooth stinger, no barb, no sacrifice. 1 wasp can deliver 8, 9, 10 stings in rapid succession and fly away completely unharmed, ready to do it again. 10 stings, inside your dog's throat, in 2 seconds. But there's something even more terrifying that nobody talks about. When a wasp feels threatened, it releases an alarm pheromone, a chemical distress signal that reaches every wasp in the surrounding area instantly. That signal means one thing: attack, now. If your dog disturbed a nest before he snapped and swallowed, he isn't dealing with one insect's venom. He's dealing with a coordinated assault from an entire colony. This is why identification matters. And this is why you have exactly 60 seconds to assess what you're dealing with. Point 3. And every second you spend not doing this is a second the swelling grows. 60 seconds. 4 checks. Your dog's life depends on getting this right. Put the phone down. Look at your dog. Start the clock. Gums first. Lift the lip and press your thumb firmly against the gum tissue. Release. Watch the color return. Pink within 2 seconds means circulation is holding. Longer than 2 seconds means it's already failing. White, pale, or blue means one thing: stop breathing and drive. Breathing second. Get close. Close your eyes and listen near his muzzle. Normal breathing is completely silent. What you're listening for is anything that doesn't belong. A high whistle, a wet rasp, a strained wheeze on the inhale. That sound is the airway narrowing in real time, and the moment you hear it, everything else stops. You move. Face third. Watch the muzzle from directly in front. Minor puffiness near the sting site is expected and manageable. What is not manageable? the face changing shape, the muzzle expanding outward, the eyes beginning to disappear into swollen cheeks. Veterinarians call this the hammerhead look, and when you see it, the decision has already been made for you. Behavior fourth. A dog in pain moves, whimpers, reacts. A dog in shock goes quiet. If your normally energetic dog has suddenly become very, very still, that stillness is not calm. It has a clinical name: compensatory shock. His body has begun shutting down non-essential functions to keep the vital ones running. 4 checks? 60 seconds? You now know exactly how much time you have and exactly what to do next. But there is one signal that appears before all 4 of these, an average of 4 minutes and 20 seconds before any breathing symptom. Most owners see it every time. Not one of them recognizes it. Point 4. This single sign buys you 4 extra minutes. Not the gums, not the wheeze, not the changing face, the eyes. In 2022, a case series published in Frontiers in Veterinary Science tracked 34 dogs experiencing anaphylactic shock from insect stings. In 29 of those 34 cases, 85%, the very first observable symptom was swelling around and above the eyes, periocular swelling, and it appeared an average of 4 minutes and 20 seconds before any respiratory symptom developed. 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Gained for free, just by knowing where to look. What does it look like? That's what makes it so dangerous. It doesn't look dramatic. The eyes don't swell shut. They just look heavier than usual, slightly puffy above the lid, like your dog just woke up from a long nap in the middle of the afternoon. And every owner who has ever seen it thought the same thing. He's tired. He's stressed. Let him rest. He is not tired. His immune system has just declared a full system emergency, and the eyes are the first flag going up. The moment those lids look even slightly heavier than normal after a swallowed sting, you are already walking to the car. You are already dialing. You are already moving. Because what you do in the next few minutes inside that car is going to determine whether your dog walks out of that clinic. Point 5. You're in the car. Here's exactly what happens now. First thing, not second, not third, first. Call the clinic before you pull out of the driveway. Not while you're driving. Before you move. Pick up the phone and say exactly this. My dog swallowed a wasp approximately 8 minutes ago. His eyes are swelling and his gums are pale. I am 12 minutes away. That sentence, spoken from your driveway, triggers an emergency protocol inside that building. The epinephrine gets drawn and dosed. The IV catheter gets prepared. The oxygen line gets positioned. A team member comes outside. A golden retriever named Biscuit survived a severe anaphylactic reaction because his owner made that call 14 minutes before arriving. The attending veterinarian said afterward, "We were ready the moment he came through the door. That preparation is the only reason he made it." Dogs have died in clinic parking lots while staff were still calculating dosages inside. Make the call first. Second, position him correctly. Right side down, neck extended, chin forward and not tucked toward the chest. This opens the trachea to its maximum diameter. Place one hand flat on his ribcage and feel every breath. Count them. If the rate drops below 15 per minute, say so when you call back. Third, your voice is medicine. Talk to him, low and steady and calm. Your dog's autonomic nervous system directly mirrors yours in moments of stress. A calm owner produces a slower heart rate in the dog beside them, and a slower heart rate means lower oxygen demand. You are a medical intervention right now. Perform like one, and give him nothing by mouth. No water, no food, nothing. A narrowing airway turns a sip of water into a choking hazard in 1 second flat. Point 6. What happens the moment you walk through that clinic door, and why understanding it makes you a completely different kind of owner. What the vet does in 3 minutes that changes everything. You hand him over. The team moves immediately. Here is exactly what happens. Airway first, always. The veterinarian's first assessment is the throat. If swelling has compromised the trachea even partially, an endotracheal tube goes in, straight past every millimetre of inflamed tissue, before any other intervention. Oxygen reaches the lungs immediately, bypassing the problem entirely. Epinephrine within 90 seconds. This is the only drug in existence that reverses anaphylaxis, not manages it, not slows it, reverses it. A single injection causes every dilated blood vessel to constrict simultaneously. Swollen tissue begins to shrink. The airway opens. According to the American College of Veterinary Emergency and Critical Care, dogs who receive epinephrine within 10 minutes of severe anaphylactic onset have a survival rate above 94%. 94% if they get it in time. This is why calling ahead is not a suggestion. The dose must be calculated for your dog's exact weight before you arrive, and every second spent calculating inside is a second he is not receiving the drug. IV fluids immediately after. Blood pressure has crashed. Without fluids to restore it, organs begin failing even as the airway recovers. Corticosteroids last. To stop the secondary inflammatory wave, the one that arrives quietly 8 to 12 hours later, when everyone believes the crisis has passed. Dogs who arrive in time recover, almost always. Dogs who arrive too late, that story ends differently, and the difference between those two outcomes is measured entirely in how fast you moved from the moment of the swallow. Most vets will never tell you this next part until after you've already had a scare. Point 7. The kit that saves his life before the emergency starts. One phone call. Your vet. This week, not next month, not after the first incident. This week, ask one specific question. Based on my dog's exact weight and health history, what diphenhydramine dose can I administer at home as a first-line response to a severe sting reaction? Diphenhydramine is the active ingredient in plain Benadryl. The widely used guideline is 1 milligram per pound of body weight, given orally. A 50-pound dog receives 50 milligrams. But your dog's specific dose must come from your veterinarian, not this video, not a forum, not a well-meaning friend. Write the answer on a card and put it in 3 places: your phone, your medicine cabinet, and your car's glove box. Point 8. The threat that's already inside your yard right now, today, while you're watching this. The danger is already there. Your dog walks past it every morning. You don't go looking for wasps. Wasps have already found you. Yellow jackets, the most aggressive species and the most common culprit in swallowing incidents, build ground nests that are completely invisible from the surface. A small circular hole, no larger than a coin, containing up to 5,000 wasps, and your dog walks past it on his morning walk without either of you knowing it exists. One sniff too close, one paw landing on the ground directly above the nest chamber. The entire colony mobilizes within seconds, and a dog's face is exactly at ground nest height. Walk your yard this week with fresh eyes. Look for unusual insect activity near ground level, small circular holes along lawn edges or fence lines, wasps entering and exiting from beneath deck boards, and this one matters most. Point 9. Something most dog owners have never once considered, and it fundamentally changes how you understand your dog's real risk level right now. The first sting was the warning. The second one is the emergency. Your dog has never had a severe reaction to a sting. He got stung once, seemed a little uncomfortable, and was fine by morning. That does not mean he's safe. It means he's primed. Anaphylaxis in dogs follows a precise immunological sequence. The first exposure, the sensitization event, teaches the immune system exactly what bee or wasp venom looks like. It catalogues it, builds specific antibodies, files it under existential threat. The second exposure arrives. And now the immune system doesn't respond proportionally to the dose. It responds proportionally to its own preparation, which is total and immediate and overwhelming. A dog who had a mild first sting has an immune system that is now fully loaded. The second sting doesn't introduce a new threat. It pulls the trigger on the response that's already been built and waiting. Think carefully about your dog's history. Has he ever come inside from the yard with an unexplained puffy face that resolved within an hour? Ever drooled heavily for reasons you couldn't identify? Ever had small raised welts under his fur that disappeared before you figured out what caused them? Any of those moments may have been sting number 1, the loading event. Tell your veterinarian today. Ask for it formally noted in his medical file. Ask whether a veterinary-grade epinephrine auto-injector is appropriate given his history. For some dogs, having one at home isn't a precaution. It's the only barrier between them and a reaction that moves faster than any drive to a clinic. Your dog survived the first one. Point 10 is what you do now to make sure he survives the second. He made it home. Don't stop here. He's resting. You're finally exhaling. The worst feels like it's over. Do not mistake stability for safety. Not yet. Biphasic anaphylaxis, a second full inflammatory wave that strikes 6 to 24 hours after the initial reaction, occurs in approximately 20% of severe allergic cases in dogs, according to research from UC Davis School of Veterinary Medicine. 1 in 5 dogs who appear completely stable after treatment are not stable. The inflammation is regrouping, and it hits again at 2 a.m. when the clinic visit feels like ancient history and you've stopped watching. Schedule a 48-hour follow-up. No exceptions, no, he seems fine so we'll skip it. At that appointment, ask for 3 specific things. A complete blood panel to assess organ function after venom exposure and epinephrine administration. A formal allergy sensitivity notation in his permanent medical record so that every veterinarian who ever treats him has that information before they ask. And a written emergency action plan, your vet's recommended first response steps, the correct medication doses, and emergency contact numbers. Every dog owner watching this right now has one of 2 stories. The story where they knew and their dog came home. Or the story where they didn't, and they never forgave themselves. Now you know. So tell me something in the comments right now. Has your dog ever swallowed a bee or wasp? What happened? Drop your story below, because your experience might save someone else's dog today.